Please come in if you wish. So welcome home to the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living, this beautiful community where love and only love abides, where love and only love is all that there is in our connection together this morning. We do welcome you wherever you are. October, already. Can you believe that? It is already October. Our theme for the month is Going Further Together. And the readings and the music that we offered this morning, for those who are with us here in the sanctuary, all bring together this topic of going further together. And our talk this morning is divine community. And I want to share with you something that a friend shared. It's an affirmation that a friend shared with me, and I just found it very meaningful. And I think it ties in with our topic this morning. And the affirmation is, the biggest opportunities don't announce themselves with trumpets and bright lights. They hide quietly, waiting for those who have the vision to see them and the commitment to follow them. And I really find this true in my life experiences. Out of the silence, some of my biggest ahas moments have revealed themselves. And we discussed this in our visioning yesterday, and I will share more about that with you a little bit later. To offer a little setting for the context for this month as we go further together, and we look specifically today the divine community, there's an African proverb that states, alone we can go faster, together we can go farther. Alone we can go faster, together we can go farther. And if we apply this idea to our Centers for Spiritual Living, we honor the community that has brought us together as a global family. And we apply this locally as we work in harmony with one another right here in our own center, or wherever we find ourselves, as we work in harmony with one another, with our brothers and sisters of other faiths, recognizing that there are many paths that lead to the source. And as we work in harmony with other people to envision the continuity of an expanding world, we honor spiritual truths as we become the beloved community together. Dr. Martin Luther King spoke often of the beloved community, a world in which all people share the wealth of the earth and the violations of human decency are not tolerated. We see the future in our current station as an embodiment of this realization for all. We are a world family where we share the wealth of the earth, and we have zero tolerance for any violations of human decency. And the setting for today's topic of divine community is an outcome of the evolutionary vision of our Centers for Spiritual Living. And that vision states, we envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. And this is congruent with the vision of the beloved community of Martin Luther King. From a science of mind perspective, in divine community, we honor one another in the confidence and courage to release all that no longer supports us. We are here to support each other in releasing that which no longer serves or supports us. And it is in this space where I recognize that I am me and you are you. And there's a beautiful evolution that nudges us forward and pushes us beyond this present moment into a new space of becoming a more profound expression of the one living source, more profound expression of God. Our divine community is fueled and supported by the acceptance of new thoughts and new ways of being. Where we choose to make our spiritual home is where we belong. And we welcome all into our home, regardless of where that home is located. In our Saturday visioning, and I'm going to continue to put a plug in and invite you to join us via Zoom on Saturday mornings at 10:30. The emergence that was evident among those who joined yesterday was this whole idea or this theme, overarching theme of connections. And it's where we recognize that we connect with one another here as a spiritual family and spiritual community, and that the connection goes beyond this local space. It is a non-local connection. We realize that our connections, especially in this community, are centered in the communion of love, and that everyone is blessed and fulfilled as we go forth and express our love for and with each other. And I offer a few illustrations from our Science of Mind teachings related to the divine community. Someone asked the question, how far is heaven? There's a particular mystery about the divine community that is only revealed from within itself as a renewable sense of fellowship. Divine community is much more than one person entering a physical or digital space and then another person entering the arena, the same arena, and so on. We're broader than that. We're bigger than that. Divine community is not merely a gathering of individuals coming together. It's a magical process of transformation that happens among us, reminding us that we are capable of being and becoming. The divine community is heavenly. It exists wherever we are. Again, we're creating that space, or we're becoming more aware of that space of I am me and you are you, and together we are we, existing in community. Dr. Holmes writes this in a Holmes Reader on Practical Wisdom. Compassion and caring are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding and in the unified attempt to uncover our divinity within each other. Compassion and caring are the ties that bind us together. And our second illustration is beloved. Beloved means dearly loved and speaks of a deep affection for the many over the one. Again, we're back to this idea of embracing an inclusive community that unites all together in a divine tapestry of truth, light, compassion, and love, woven together with threads of hope and faith. This is the quality and the depth of our shared connections. We're woven together by divine intention, fueled by beauty, imagination, commitment, creativity, humility, compassion, and sacrifice that invites us to be willing to give up our perceived individualism for the sake of love that has made us the community that we are. We give up our perfected individualization and individualism for the sake of love that unites us together. Ernest Holmes writes this in 365 Science of Mind, a year of daily wisdom. And we read it this way: love really is the fulfillment of the law of good. Love alone can heal the world and enable people to live together in unity and peace. And I think this is what we're seeing outpicturing in the world of effect right now, that there's this cry for love, and there's so much division that the cry seemingly is unanswered. And yet, we know within the depth of our own being, and as we continue to join together in fellowship and in partnership with other spiritual communities and people of faith, that we, through loving each other, can heal the world and enable people to live together in harmony, in unity, and in peace. And our third illustration is belong, or longing to be. To belong means existing as a part of something. Whether we identify ourselves as introverts or extroverts or whatever vert there is, I'm sure there are more, however we identify ourselves, maybe as a loner, and yet there is still this longing to be a part of something. The idea of belonging centers itself in the realm of the deepening sense of longing to be. Imagine with me for a moment. We come to belong to one another, not as a declaration that is bestowed upon us by some external decree, but something that flows out of the depths of our beings. This longing to come together, to belong, is something that flows out of the depths of our innermost being. What if our longing to be is ascending to new heights? Not outpicturing in the moment, but ascending to new heights in the momentum of love and our willingness to embody and exemplify this love in the world. There's a beautiful body of work by an organization, I believe they're either based in Seattle or Portland. And they are an expression of the beloved community of Dr. Martin Luther King. And one of their works, the name of the organization is actually Tools for Change, and you could Google them, Tools for Change. Discovering the qualities of a beloved community. And I share this quote with you from their website. It says, "In our vision of beloved community, diversity thrives, everyone is included, and justice prevails. Each of us gets to bring our entire selves into the mix. Care, trust, and respect are the norm." That is a lofty goal, and I'm sure that it is a goal that is sure to be attained by all, as Dr. Holmes reminds us in What We Believe. The vision of a beloved community is a diversity that thrives. Everyone is included. Everyone is included. This is one of the shifts that I'm seeing in the work of diversity and inclusion training. It's shifting from the original paradigms that were set up, that diversity means that someone who is not like me adapts to my particular perspective or point of view or way of belief, and this is how I welcome them in. Diversity is actually accepting the gifts that each one individually brings to the table. It is that mix. It's like preparing a stew where you put together several ingredients and allow those ingredients to marinate and blend together. And the various aromas and flavors that come out of that makes it a very delicate and delightful taste. So it is within our beloved community that justice prevails, and that each one of us brings our entire selves into the mix. We're not required or requested to put aside a part of who we are in order to blend in. Blending in is not diversity. Blending in is just representing the same sameness that exists. So when we bring our entire selves into the mix, we create an atmosphere of care and trust and respect. that becomes the norm. And so our call to action in developing and recognizing divine community, we realize our calling is to deepen our connections with one another right now. Our calling is to develop deepen our connections with each other right now. When welcoming others, we extend to ourselves to do the work of justice, peace, and compassion in the world. And this does not mean that we all have to go out and participate in a rally or join a movement or do something that moves us out of our comfort zone. Now, we are required to move out of our comfort zone, but we identify a way that works for us right exactly where we are. The divine community is established upon this rock of love that knows no bounds and creates an everlasting bond in the heart and the soul of humanity. When we're at home, we belong to one another, enough to companion each other through the joys and sorrows of life. This is what community is about. This is what the beloved community is about. We are here to companion one another through the joys and the sorrows of life. Let this be the place and this love that we declare to be a measurement of our faith that is capable of welcoming each other home. And we turn to the timeless wisdom of our Science of Mind teaching that reminds us we believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. And I offer this to us as a spiritual practice if we choose to participate or an outreach activity. And that is to serve the community in a greater way as an ambassador. And this is really a shout out to those of us who identify ourselves with the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. Serve as a greeter and ambassador to help people learn about our center. And that can show up and outpicture in a variety of ways. I allow you to use your imagination. Visualize the doors that are opening. Visualize hearts and minds of all who enter not only the physical space, but enter our virtual community. And allow the energy that comes out of that connection to support us in creating a space for people who know that they are home. And truly, we say, welcome home. And I've asked the tech team to put this into the chat section on our Zoom page and into the comments section on our Facebook page. The spiritual practice, and then our questions for reflection or journaling that are based on today's topic. The first question is, does the concept of divine community appeal to me? And you might ask yourself, why or why not? Does the concept of divine community speak to me? Does it appeal to me? Why or why not? There is no right or wrong answer to this. This is the answer that emerges out of your heart space. Now, our second question is, how can I take the concept of divine community into other areas of my life and into organizations with which I am involved? How do I take this out into the community? How do I spread the love that is within me out into the community? I offer this idea. Show up as you are, confident in knowing that each one is an individualized expression of pure spirit. And then our third question for reflection is, what role can I play to help my community become radically welcoming to newcomers? And again, I think we all have our own ideas about how we can do this. What role can I play to help my community become radically welcoming to strangers? And then our affirmation for the week, I will say it and then I will invite you to respond with me. I am a presence of divine love wherever I am. And let us say this together. I am a presence of divine love wherever I am. And I invite you to just contemplate on that during the week. Contemplate on that thought and recognize the very truth of that is that I am the presence of divine love wherever I am. And now I invite us to pray together. And so we turn within to that inner space where we're aware of the presence of the Most High. We're aware of the presence of Source. We're aware of the presence of God. This all-prevailing presence that operates as itself in and through and as each and every one, every sentient being, every experience that we encounter wherever we are. And I speak my word in gratitude for knowing that I am, you are, we are one with this divine source. And it is in recognizing that our oneness with this divine source is that which creates the beloved, the divine community, where we come together in friendship, in fellowship, in love, in service for and to one another. It is the partnering along the way that allows us to be the expressions of the divine. We know that love prevails, that love guides, that love nurtures, that love heals. And so for whatever healing there is that is taking place right now, just put a little love on it. Whatever it is that may be troubling, wherever it is that the mind may take you or take me on this around the world journey, those stopping points, just put a little love on it. Bless it. And say, thank you for showing up. Thank you for the experience. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for being present in my life. In thanking and expressing gratitude for those experiences, we move away from identifying or labeling them as right or wrong. It is just a blip on the radar screen of life. And so when we put a love on it, whatever is required to be healed and revealed is done so. And it is done so gently, lovingly, and kindly. And as we apply healing to all areas of our lives, as we apply love to all areas of our lives, I'm speaking a word this morning for those prayer requests that remain within the recess of our hearts, knowing that the answer is already yes. The mere thought brings it into the awareness of the presence. And the answer comes through the awareness of their presence. And knowing that right livelihood is a divine order, it is part of the divine community. I know that right living spaces is that which is a part of the divine community, and that whatever it is that is required, it is already provided. All that is requested, all that is required is that we open our eyes and see the blessings that multiply around us daily and daily and daily. And so for this and so much more, I give thanks, releasing this word, releasing this talk, releasing this entire service into the law, which always says yes to whatever the request is, just allowing it to be so. And we affirm it together by saying, and so it is.